Oh, would that be unusual?
That'd be unusual. I don't know if I'll be ready for it. You guys shy or something?
Did you feel like you had to prove something today? I mean, did you work out?
Yeah, I worked out. I did actually linebacker and defensive line, like the full thing for both. So I don't know when the last time that's been done at Michigan, like the full of both. But for me, it was just a matter of going out and showing, A, endurance, and B, that I could play both positions. And you always got something to prove. You know, I'm always a chip on the shoulder guy. And so you're always out there trying to present that the best form of yourself.
How exhausting is that, and how different are the drills?
It's exhausting, and I try to take it upon myself to make sure that, you know, even though I was breathing heavy because I was tired, but I try to make it, you know, take it upon myself. My brother's advice from way back in the day, just try not to show you're weak and keep your hands not on your hips and stuff. But it's exhausting. I mean, it's just a lot, and I wasn't preparing for it. They told me today. That's the thing about it, is I didn't even know, like, going into it, like, am I doing linebacker, am I doing defensive line? I was preparing for like a 15-minute workout. That's really all I've been, like, conditioning wise, like, set up 15 minutes, just doing as much as I can. And today it was, like, you know, a half hour, so double that, and a lot more position, or a lot more drills. But I'm ready for anything, and that's kind of my mantra, ready to show up and work.
Did someone recommend that you do both, or why did you?
I really don't know. I don't know why. They kind of told me that this is what you're going to do, and so I don't know if coaches recommended it. But like, anytime you get a chance to display yourself to as many teams as possible, it really doubles my area of you know, my net that can catch me at the next level. So
people seem relatively surprised by your combine performance, but I mean, that's pretty, you know, you've shown it while you've been here. So when you have something like that, like, how do you pitch yourself beyond the not, you know, like, I know you've talked about the not being a try-hard white guy and everything, but like, how do you pitch that?
And to be perfectly honest, like, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with being a try-hard white guy. Like, there's a lot of guys that make, you know, good careers out of it. It's a good thing. But I was trying to make the cases that, you know, I'm that, but I'm also this. And it's not mutually exclusive. Like, you could have a motor that doesn't stop and also possess elite level quickness and agility. So that's what I tried to show, and that's what I continue to try to work on. And people are like, oh, you know, I don't know if, you know, tightness in the hips or something on drops. And I haven't worked on it since my sophomore year of high school. Like, it just, you know, you ask a quarterback to go play defensive end, like, even if he's a good athlete, he might not be as good at it. Just something that takes time. And I've already made a lot of progress on it. And I think I'm demonstrating to teams that, like, I'm athletic enough and I'm fast enough to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Now that we're so close to the end now, do you feel like you've put your best foot forward during this process, and have you enjoyed it, or has it been stressful?
Yeah, they were messing with me yesterday because they were measuring my arms again, and, like, this was not going to surprise you guys at all. But, like, it was like leaning my hip into it almost, and he's like, you know, that's not going to help you. But I told him I was just like, I'm fighting for every inch. And so I was that way at the combine, really just like the Wonderlic and all that kind of stuff. So I just that's my mentality in this, is that it's a lot of waiting around, a lot of anticipation, but, like, when the time comes to do something, like, I'm going to try my darndest to make sure that, you know, I capitalize on that, because it is a short window, and I do have something to prove.
Has anybody talked to you about playing linebacker? Any teams, any scouts you've
Yeah,
talked to?
so it's pretty much, I don't want to say 50-50, but I'm getting the whole gambit, the whole spectrum. Like, I have teams that are 4-3, and, like, they love me. They have guys on their team that they compare me to. You know, they think I'm more athletic than them. One team said, which I'm not going to share their team, but and then for the same thing for 3-4 teams. Like, I've had a lot of 3-4 teams just love me, and so it's been good. I don't mean to sound weird by saying they love me or whatever, because I'm sure they tell it to every player they talk to. But yeah, just really in terms of, like, marketability, I think I've done a pretty good job of, like, through my numbers and through, like, just the drills they put me through, of displaying the fact that I can be comfortable in a 4-3. You know, I can have a really high ceiling in a 3-4. And,
So was it like with 4-3 defensive end, 3-4 outside backer?
Yeah, so 3-4 outside backer, and then 4-3 defensive end. And a lot of teams run not a lot, but like there's a good number of them that will run some kind of multiple front. So like there will be 4-3, one down, and then the next will go to a 3-4 depending on the situation, or vice versa. So it's a good, and there's only 53 spots that, on an active roster. So you need players that can play multiple positions sometimes and can contribute on special teams. And you guys know I'm down to play whatever helps the team. So. Come on, Sam, you got a question. This is the last time. Are you nervous or something? This is the last time you're ever going to get me up here. You got nothing to say.
Feel like
you
went into this try-hard white guy thing. Do you think that some teams thought that about you heading into the combine? Do you think you surprised people with how you perform?
Oh, for sure. Teams definitely, talked like that. I know. I don't know if every team did, but I know one team in particular. The GM was talking to my agent, and he was saying, because he brought my name up, and then I think a coach or two was like, "Oh, that's just a try-hard white guy," and he's like, "No," because they hadn't really watched much film, but he just perception-wise, and so they made him put on the tape, and he's like, "Wow, this kid's legit." And then I went there. This was right before we were at the combine, and then I went through the process, and then I felt like I kind of confirmed, their new idea. So, yeah. So I had a lot to prove, and it wasn't me being slow. It was just, we got some speed on that defense. So we got a fast team.
How much do you feel like your post-combine performance or combine performance in today maybe helped change that perception and change the perception of you, period?
I dropped the ball, so I today in the thing. So I think it confirmed me not playing tight end at the next level. But at the same time, I think it confirmed my ability to play multiple positions at the next level, and kind of choose. Teams choose that destiny, but kind of write my own path as well. On the flip side of it, so yeah, the combine performance was pretty solid. It's, at that time of the year, you're not in the summertime, you're not in peak shape, you're coming off a season. It's, as good as, or just about as good as I'm going to do. So
many people talk about Rashawn as obviously athletic freak, but beyond that, in terms of work ethic and football smarts and all the things that you get to see on a day in, day out basis. Talk about that aspect of his game, and do you think that that's going to help him make a good pro as well?
Yeah, I think he's a work ethic, and we've always had a good relationship, me and Rashawn, especially when it comes to football, because we just got so much respect for each other, and we know the grind and how much work goes into it. He's, as you said, he's an athletic freak. His potential's through the roof. And just like mine, his destiny is in his own hands, and he's in a good spot too because you get picked that early. They're already very invested in you. You're going to get a lot of time, to whatever. I don't know if he's going to play end or where he's going to find himself, but he's going to have time to settle into that role and really come to his fullest self. But his speed and his strength, I think they're definitely pretty. I don't know, it speaks for itself, but pretty marketable stuff. So,
through talking to teams and your agent, are you getting a sense for where in the draft you're likely to go?
Yeah, it was weird. It was like I said before the combine, I felt like this is just the way it is. But if you don't produce the numbers at the combine and you don't already have that maybe name brand recognition or hype, you're in a tough spot because you're all of a sudden limited to a kind of a role player, or your ceiling isn't as high, so they're not going to draft you off of that. But you go there and you all of a sudden I'm not tooting my own horn, I'm just saying this is just the way it is. You do better than maybe people anticipated. All of a sudden, the narrative in their head kind of shifts. Okay, let's go back and watch the tape. This guy's he can move, he can run, he's smart, whatever. And so all of a sudden, maybe your ceiling's, knocked up another 30, 40 picks, whatever it may be. But the whole thing's a crapshoot. You have no idea. Teams tell you they love you, and it's weird. You're talking to coaches, and they'll tell you if I had it my way. But at the end of the day, it's just they're feeding back into a system, and their player personnel and the GMs, and they're all making the decisions. So. It's a crazy process, and I really don't know. Hopefully as high as possible. I'm trying to get my. I told one team I said I was trying to get my mom a car if they could help me out. So he said he could. So we'll see. They're gonna decide if she's getting a Ferrari or she's getting a Camry. So.
Do you have any workouts scheduled?
Yeah, I got a couple workout schedules next week, but I got to get my surgery on my thumb next Wednesday.
And what's the recovery for a thumb surgery?
Well, for the average man or for me?
For the try-hard white guy.
For the try-hard white guy, I'd say it's about 2 months, 2+ months.
But
So
that
for
doesn't
the
limit you.
average person, it's probably about 3, but I could probably cut it in a month or so at least.
But it doesn't limit you in terms of working out and stuff.
Well, it does at first because the pins are very fragile, and they don't want like this whatever is it like actually in it to like fall out, so they don't want me like falling on it. But yeah. So at first you got to be a little more careful, but I'm sure after a week or so I'll be ready to go.
Is that from this fall?
I'll be too antsy trying to get back in the gym. So, what'd you say?
Is that cleaning something up from this fall? Or?
Yeah, that was from the Ohio State game. It was like the first quarter of the Ohio State game. I don't know if I fell on it and just kind of popped it off. So it's just been a process because it's like you can't stop the whole combine deal, and you got to go out and you got to perform. So it's just been a long time waiting. And then the Florida game was like, I'm here. I might as well play. So.
What does it keep you from doing now?
It was tough at first. Like most of December, I couldn't really lift. So like that goes into the combine and benching and stuff. But I mean, it's fine. It just is irritable more than anything. There's pain and stuff, but it doesn't. I still would play video games and stuff. I'm pretty stubborn.
Can you say who you're meeting with next week?
Yeah. Hey, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Am I allowed to say who I'm meeting with, or is that a?
That's totally up to you.
Well, what's the recommended?
Well, what I recommend, no.
No. Okay.
Oh my God! Everybody says
Sorry.
who they meet with.
Who complains first?
Hey, Peter, what do you think? Peter, what do you think?
As long as it's still rolling. Chase said about a normal person's recovery time being 3 months. I'm not certain on Angelique.
Oh, you had the same surgery?
Consider my mom has to rearrange her whole entire schedule now to come up and take care of you.
Yeah.
So it's probably
It's just a weird. It's a weird. Yeah, my mom's coming up to take care of me. Apparently, I'm fine, Mom. I'm good. Sorry, this is off track here, but yeah. So it's a weird conundrum because like the teams are like very like hush hush like don't tell who you're meeting with and stuff. Like a couple teams, not all the teams, but like a couple teams have. So it's like I don't know if like they don't want teams to know they're interested in me, but like for me it's better if everybody knows like I'll meet with these teams because they're interested in me. But so yeah, I'm not gonna say I don't want to get in trouble. So
your mom's planning your schedules?
no.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying, that she's coming through your plan.
No, she was coming up to take care of me is what he was saying.
Oh.
Yeah, after the surgery.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
yeah, she was trying to get me to come back to Pittsburgh, but.
So have you talked to the teams? Are there specific players that they've kind of compared you to in the league?
Yeah, so I've gotten a couple different approaches. Kind of like I'm in a good spot because like a lot of teams, that's why I'm marketable to both 4-3 and 3-4. Like some teams see me as more of like a Brooks Reed, like maybe in like low 260s, like defensive end, and other teams see me more as like a TJ Watt type defensive end or outside linebacker, excuse me. And so I'm in a good spot there because like I'm kind of in between, and I could be either in my opinion.
Anything else
Do you
for
have,
Chase?
like, after you make it and get a team, do you have something you want to buy? Like something you really want to
Yeah, that's I already talked about that earlier, but like
When?
about like 2 minutes ago.
No way.
Yeah, I told her about my mom's car.
Oh, that. For
Yeah,
you.
no,
For you.
I already have a sweet Jeep. I'm taken care of. It's for me. Like my mom would always make trips up to see me, and she like loves listening to audiobooks. But like the car itself isn't that bad. It's like 2011, but the computer system in the car is broke, so she can't listen to music or like audiobooks. And so that's why I said I've always like the past year I've always been motivated by that, just like seeing her face, and so that's something I plan on doing.
Mm-hmm.
as my purchase, and then after that, my brother's gonna be handling all my money. So
you'll never see it.
yeah, so if I'm lucky, I'll never see it till I'm done. I'm smart.
With the guys that you leave behind here, you know, it's going to be a little uncertainty, you know, on the defensive line. You know, who do you think is going to step up in your place?
There's a lot of guys that they're going to step up. We're in a good spot. I don't know if Ben Mason, like, what his deal is. I would imagine he was talking about this before I left, and imagine he's going to try to play some defense. You got Kwity Paye, he's a dog. Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, he's going to be like the next GOAT. I mean, his dad was an All-American here, and he has potential just through the roof for what he's able to do as a freshman. It's crazy, and how he looks too. And then inside, like you got Carlo Kemp, Michael Dwumfor. I mean, the list goes on, and just and those guys are going to take I think a big leap this next year. I just think that Carlo's pretty confused. He was playing anchor, he's playing this. I think once he gets settled into his role, and same thing with Michael Dwumfor.
Was it weird seeing Wilton here today?
It was weird. I saw him yesterday and the day before that, though. So, yeah, it was a little weird just seeing him back in Shem. But yeah, he's earned his spot here in my books. Anybody that breaks their back for Michigan is literally, has a spot here in my book.
All right.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for over the past couple of years. You guys have been a true pleasure for me to work with and a lot of fun. So thank you guys. Yeah.